Hello.
And that's it. It's just the two of us.
Yep, yep.
Screw it.
Just us.
I'm going to do it because Bobby's not here. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You and I. Because every time I do that, he cringes. Which is actually more reason to do it, to be fair. Making Bobby grin.
Does he like that less than puns? Or which ones? What's
I
the
think
preference there?
puns are his real kryptonite, but like singing and joy are his other ones. So yeah, this week we're gonna kind of we're gonna forego the lightning round form of things, and we're gonna talk a bit more in length about what games we've been playing, because we've both got quite a few to discuss. I've actually got an entire console full of lots of games to talk about. So let me have a look. Purely because I'm incredibly curious about what this is, Sam, and I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Spelunker Party Demo.
Okay, so just the other day I got an email from Nintendo and they're like, hey, there's this demo out. You should play it. It'll be fun. So I said, okay, it's a free demo. I like trying out new things. This is a game that I believe you can play with buddies, either online or in person. I didn't have any buddies to play with, so I had to do it by myself, which was a bummer.
Aww.
Yeah, so you are, I guess, like a little miner person. You're going down into the mines. You are looking for, I don't actually know what the goal is, but I mean, when you start out, you're looking for little gold treasures, getting keys to move on, and getting little collectibles so that you can unlock items to help you along the way. Um, the first thing I'll say about this is the characters in this game have these just little ball hands. They're just like a round little ball for a hand, which is fine. But during the early loading screen, it has just an image of these two female characters standing there, and they've got their hands pulled up by their chest, and so it looks like they've just got boobs hanging out. And I found it very odd. I don't I enjoy adult themes in appropriate
I
locations.
thought you were going to say, I enjoy boobs.
Well, I mean, who doesn't really? But yeah, so like you Saints Row 4, you get a dildo bat as one of your weapons, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine because that's what you would expect from that game. But, like a Nintendo game like this, I kind of don't want things like that. I want it to be truly like, all ages friendly and not have representations of big boobs just hanging out. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But so we got past that and you get into the game and it's pretty unforgiving. So it's like a little platformer. You're just navigating along through these caverns and you have to like jump on vines and climb and do things. But you have to be real precise with your jumps. If you are just like a centimeter off, you're going to fall down and die. Like a lot of games, you could, kind of walk off the edge and catch the vine as you're falling down. That's a no-go on this one. As soon as you step off the edge at all, you're dead. Like it doesn't even mess with the animation of showing you falling. You're just dead as soon as it happens. So it could be a little bit frustrating. But I was playing, I got a couple levels in, and I got to the point where I was like really close, I think, to unlocking a pet because you can get little pets that are going to help you along the way. And I was pretty excited about that, but then I died. You only have a certain number of lives, and once you run out, you have to go back to the beginning and start again. I think it would be a lot more fun with a buddy or multiple buddies. I'm not sure how many you could get in, but also I think it would be really awesome as a free game. I don't know if I would want to pay to play this game in the future, but while it's a free demo, it's fine. So
I'm
I don't know.
wondering if it's any relation to Spelunky.
That's what I wondered. That
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You went a bit funny then.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think you went a bit funny, so we'll
Oh,
just
we
agree to
both went a
disagree
bit funny.
there. So
Funny all round.
yeah,
Yeah, I think, yeah, I do that. I do like the sound of that game, but like you say, it is games like that are frustrating, where they throw you back to the start of the level.
yes.
Talking of unforgiving video games, I've been playing quite a bit of Cuphead.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't know, Cuphead is the first game from a studio called, I think they're called MDMH, and I think it's literally founded by like two brothers, and I think the game in total was made by maybe 4 or 5 people. And the animation, all the backgrounds and everything in it is entirely hand drawn, and it's got this really cool like retro 1930s animation look to it.
It Hugh, it looks amazing, and like when I saw it before, like I always thought, is Cuphead like a new thing? I thought maybe it was like an old school thing that they were bringing back. What? It's just
No,
completely new.
it's a completely original concept. I think the game was originally announced about 6-7 years ago. And I think it just became sort of like this self-perpetuating beast, as sort of like what they were doing with the game sort of got more and more sort of kind of like No Man's Sky. Like as it got more and more notoriety, they just were put in a position where they could do more with it. But whereas with No Man's Sky was a video game that after a few hours I was just like, I'm bored of this. This isn't what I paid for. Cuphead is exactly what I paid for. But yeah, it looks absolutely incredible. Like
It sounds incredible too.
yeah,
Soundtrack.
the music is awesome, and it's not as if it's like a small soundtrack either. It's a good, like, I bought the soundtrack. There's a sort of I think it's on Bandcamp, and it's like a pay what you want type deal. So I paid like $10 and got the like high quality version of it, and it's nearly 3 hours worth of music. Like there's 50 odd tracks, and each of them is like a good sort of 3 to 5 minutes long. But if you don't know, Cuphead it's a run and gun platformer. The crux of sort of like where you advance the story and open the world up for yourself is in missions where it's purely based around boss battles. And it's kind of like a proper like old school boss battle where they've got like multiple phases. Each one is like, I think in terms of like multi-phase boss battles that do like each phase is like massively unique to the next. I think this is one of like the most inventive games of that type I've ever played. And then there's other missions which are, out and out traditional platform sort of side scrolling, get from A to B. You can get hit 3 times, and if you die, you're back to the start of the level. And
that is punishing. Oh my god.
it is.
I don't know.
It's a hard video game, but I was speaking to Bobby about it because I think Bobby has got to the point where I think he's getting frustrated with it, and he's not enjoying the game because he finds it quite difficult, which is fine. But I'll kind of segue this into me talking about the SNES Classic as well. So I picked one up as well. And one of the games that I wanted to have a go at on that was Super Ghouls and Ghosts, because I remember playing it, but I don't remember much about it. But I remember, like, Matt always talks about how Super Ghouls and Ghosts is just like this stupidly hard, like, frustrating game because the game just doesn't play very well. And it is like, I played it for about 20 minutes, half an hour, I was like, fuck this, I'm not. But this, the SNES Classic is now down to 20 games because I'm completely disregarding this one. But Cuphead, on the other hand, it's a hard game, but it plays and controls so well. When you do, when you make mistakes and you die, it's your own fault. Like, it's purely down to how good you are as a gamer and your skills. So there's no input lag or anything like that. You press A to jump, you jump, and it plays really well. So it's if you want a video game that tests your skills as a gamer, then I highly recommend it. But I also recommend it purely basically on the fact that it looks and sounds gorgeous, and it's a hell of an achievement. It's a brilliant bit of game design. So I've been having great fun with that, and I also did a what is video for it, which today Bobby told me he was struggling to beat one of the bosses, or he can't beat one of the bosses, and I said, which one is it? And he was like, oh, it's the one with the two frogs. And I was like, oh, that's the one I beat on my What Is video. This is documentary evidence of me being better at video games than Bobby. So
nice.
I did try to give him like a negative reinforcement as to why he should keep trying. But I hope he kind of sticks with it, because there's a lot more, like, I think, even if I don't finish it, I'd like to be able to see all the bosses just to see them, because the design on them is absolutely awesome. Like
yeah, I watched just your video, and they were so cool. It's like the one, there's like the witch, and then like halfway through she turns into this cloud bowl, and it's just like crazy.
Yeah, so. It is goofy, and I've seen clips of other ones which are just like even more insane. So I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Quick question.
Go for it.
So I know you can do 2-player local. Can you do online co-op as well?
That is a good question. I'm really not sure. I don't think you can. I think it's local, because it's like a side-scrolling. I don't know whether it's split screen or what. But don't quote me on that. I'll have to. I'll have to look into that one. Yeah.
If I were going to play it, I'd want to have a buddy to play with me to help resurrect me every time I die.
That would be fun. But yeah, I'm
also,
not entirely sure.
I would that game on Switch.
Yes.
I think it would be a lot of fun on that. Because it's only $20 or so, right? On Steam right now? So, I mean, it's a pretty good deal.
It's reasonably priced, yeah. It's it is a good deal, and I think it's one of those games, like I said, I think I can understand people getting frustrated with it because it is hard, but if you want to, like, it's a game that's worth experiencing with just to see it. I know there's plenty of videos out there, but it's just a really good platforming game.
Yeah.
So, Sam, have you played any Iron Banner before? You have on the dock that you've played some Iron Banner. So have you played any before?
So I feel like I have, but honestly, I don't remember a whole lot from Destiny 1, even though it was really only like 6 months ago probably that I was playing it. But like I never really understood what was going on in Destiny 1, and I'd go do things and it was fine, and I never really understood. I think I did become an Iron Lord at one point, but I don't know if that has anything to do with Iron Banner.
I think probably that was not. Purely just the Iron, the Rise of Iron content.
Okay. So I got into Iron Banner now in Destiny 2 this week, and I've had fun with it. It's all control as the game type, which that's probably my favorite type. But I mean, I was saying last night, it's fun and all, but I mean, I wouldn't mind if there were like 2 or 3 different game types that they would mix and match in there, because you just keep playing the same mode over and over again. It kind of gets old. But So they do the thing where they kind of strip your power levels away to put everyone on a more even playing field. And I was real excited at first because I got in there. It was like my second or third round, and, and I don't know, like the best game of my life. There were you get like challenges for Crucible every day, and I managed to get all my challenges done. One was to kill 5 enemies in 1 life, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get that done, but I got it done, and I
Cool.
was just like super excited. I was like, I think Iron Banner might be like my game. Like this is it for me. This is fantastic. And then I played a few more rounds and got in with like really good people who put me back in my place. So it comes and goes, but it was fun. We're trying to just get our tokens to get the fancy armor that is. I don't understand how it works because I've gotten 3 engrams from Saladin so far, and none of them have had the special Iron Banner armor in them. So I got an exotic helmet, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it." And then they're like, "No, that's not it. It'll say that it's part of the Iron Banner armor." So I'm not sure like how much you have to play to start getting the armor, or if it's just random drops. Um,
I
but yeah,
think it's similar to the how the faction battle was, with basically just as you gain the reputation and you decrypt the engrams, it's just sort of random drops basically. So we say like there was a certain amount of like future war cult specific guns during that event, and they would come with like the future war cult logos on, and then it was like a hood for the hunter and stuff like that. So I think Iron Banner is similar in that respect. It's just a case of sort of like it has its own subset of loot that you can get, but I think it's pretty much random as to if you get it or not, which it can be frustrating if you don't have any luck with the RNG in that mode.
yeah, they should increase the probability for the fancy armor for that, because I mean a lot of people will get mad if they're getting tons of engrams and not getting any armor. I'm not super concerned because I'm playing as a hunter, and the hunter armor just isn't that exciting.
It is a bit
So I need
bland.
to level up. I know the hunters have the worst armor always. There's just nothing exciting about it. So I need to get my other characters leveled up so I can start getting some fancy looking armor.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get other chances to, get the armor in once the Iron Banner starts again. But, like you say, it would be nice for you to, like, every time the Iron Banner's open, because I think it's on for, what, a week?
I
It's
think
on until
so.
next Tuesday. So, yeah, I mean, if you play a decent chunk of it, they should at least, there should be sort of like, if you've played 20 matches of the Iron Banner, you should guaranteed at least like one, like a piece of the armor
Yeah.
set, I suppose.
And
Um,
also, if you're going to play a bunch of it, they should maybe have a second game mode so that it's not all control.
yeah,
Just saying.
that kind, yeah, and playing the same mode for a week can just get dull. I
Yeah.
don't see why it just
Yeah.
doesn't. They should do kind of like a Splatoon thing and just have it rotate every sort of like, maybe not as often as Splatoon, but like just rotate the game mode every sort of, you know, 12 hours or so.
Yeah.
I don't
That'd
think
be
it
all
would.
right.
Yeah, it wouldn't do any harm. I mean, it's as long as it's like they keep it to the the quick play ones as
Quick
opposed to
play. Yeah.
competitive. I think that would be fine. Speaking of shooting people in the face, I, on a whim with my friend Ori, recently picked up Rainbow Six Siege. We both played there was a free weekend. It was a while ago, probably earlier this year, and we both really enjoyed it. But we kind of like, yeah, it's tough. But we both just randomly found ourselves sort of having a bit of an urge to play it again. So we found it on Amazon for £15. So we both picked it up, and I gotta say, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I'm actually fairly good at it, which is a surprise. FPS games with me, I'm generally they're a bit hit and miss. Like Destiny, Crucible, I'm not too bad at. That just seems to click with me. COD multiplayer, don't even go there. I just can't deal with that nonsense. But yeah, I think this game, I think the sort of realism of it, where you're sort of, if you see an enemy, you target them and fire, and as long as you get a good sort of 3 or 4 bullets into them, that's it, you've killed them, because there's no, like, it's very sort of it's not like say like in Destiny, people are basically like bullet sponges. You've just got to like pump them full of bullets until they die, and they have their shield as well. This is a lot of the time it's like one hit headshot kills, and like if you hit someone in a chest a few times, that's it.
Quick question. So
yes.
Is this so this is a multiplayer online?
Yeah, it has a single player mode as well. So it has there's no story, but there are single player missions called situations, which are pretty cool. They basically sort of they kind of play, well, they do play like the multiplayer mode, in that you're given like the crux of the game is you're like this crack team of commandos, and you either play as the attackers, so you start outside this building, and then there'll be like terrorists inside the building with like a hostage, or they'll have a bomb that needs defusing, or some sort of like, you know, like I think the other one is just like this radioactive package or something like that. So you have these situations that you can play through, and each one's kind of unique, and it gives you like, it has like the characters in it are called operatives, and there's quite a lot of them. So you have like attacking operatives and defending operatives. So some of them have like really cool abilities, where there's like one guy where he attaches this thing to like the enemy fortifications, and it sort of drills a hole in these fortifications, and then it just fires like mini grenades into the room through the wall.
Nice.
And there's just loads of them. There's one guy who his whole thing is like, he's got a scope on his gun with heat vision. So basically he could throw a smoke grenade into a room, pop this scope onto his gun, and he can see people, whereas nobody else in the room can.
So is this what they call like the tactical shooter, where you have to like plan
Yes.
out your different stuff?
It's
like
very
that? Okay,
tactical.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the matches start, and you've got the initial sort of setup round. So if you're the attackers, you have like these little drones on wheels, and you drive them into the building that you're going into, and you've got to basically try and find where the enemies are in the building. You can mark them, but it marks where they are at that specific point. So they can, if they've moved from there, then you know you don't know where they are, but it gives you their general vicinity. But then you also, the main thing you want to do with the drones is find your objective, so you're not going into the building blind. You kind of know where you need to be. And if you're defending, you have to sort of fortify the building. So you've got like an unlimited amount of these barricades that you can put up. So if you've got a doorway, you basically like put this thing on the door, like the frame of the door, and pull down these wooden slats, so it just like covers the entire door apart from like this little gap at the bottom. And then you, like, each character will have like, some of them will have their own thing. Like there's this one dude where he'll put a bag down on the floor, and it's full of like armor for people, so they'll get like 50 hit points of armor before their health starts being taken down. And then there's another guy who has his own like personal shield that he unfolds and puts on the floor. There's one guy who has this thing you can put on the wall where if someone throws a grenade in the room, this thing detects it, flips and shoots the grenade and diffuses it before it goes
That's
off.
awesome.
And it's really cool, yeah. And then there's, you can put like booby traps on the door, so there's like this like infrared beam going across the door, and if they break it, it goes off. But then there's a counter to that. Like there's one character on the like counter-terrorist team who has like EMP grenades, so you can throw an EMP grenades into a room, and it'll just blow out all the drones, all the like their defenses.
How long does a match usually take?
A match is first to 3 rounds, so best of 5, and around you're probably looking at it probably no more than sort of like 5 minutes around, because it's very quick. It's like each team is 5 players. So yeah, it's really tense, and it's really, really involving, and you've got to communicate with your teammates. Well,
so are you going on comms with other people?
No. My team. I should clarify. My teammate. Yeah, but I really like it. Like Ori is like exceptionally good first-person shooters. Like Battlefield, that guy is a fucking savant in that game. He just sees people and kills them all over the place. Like he's just ridiculous. Like he'll if we get to the post end game screen and he looks at his like how he's done, and he's got like less than 30 kills, and he was like, "Oh, that's a bad round for me." And there's me like, "Yeah, I got 12."
Yeah, and double digits. Woohoo!
Yeah, and I only died 16 times. But even he was saying to me, he was like, "You're actually really good at this game," because like my reactions to sort of like spot, aim, and shoot are usually pretty good and fairly accurate. But it's the ability to maintain accuracy for long periods, because I just start spraying all over the place wildly. But that initial burst, I'm pretty good at. But yeah, I do recommend it. Like if you want a good like first person shooter that's a bit different to anything else out there, that's still getting like really well supported, with tons of content in it, I recommend it. And I imagine with like a bigger group of friends, it would be like so much fun to play. So yeah, I've been really, really, really enjoying that. I'm also curious, Sam. You're just throwing up curveballs to me this week. What in the blue hell is Project Octopath?
So it's another free demo that the Switch has. Project Octopath Traveler, I think, is the name. So it's interesting. So eventually, I think you're going to get to be able to play as 8 different characters. The demo has 2 that are available from the start. One is like this grizzled old like warrior veteran, I think. I didn't play as him. The other is this young woman named Primrose, and she saw her father get murdered by these bad guys, and so she's made it her life's work to go get vengeance, and she wants to track these guys down and kill them. So she is a dancer at the local tavern, or gentleman's club, you might say. And it's got really good personality and good story so far. Kind of mature themes. But yeah, so I like that. She has this special ability where she can like do a little dance and allure people, and so it kind of like enthralls them, and they follow her around and kind of do what she wants. So I immediately got a soldier and got him to follow me around, because I'm like, I gotta have some muscle here. Went into the first dungeon area, and I had to battle a bat. And this has turn-based combat, which is not my forte.
You're not alone there.
I'm horrible, and I kind of hate it. But so I started fighting this bat, and it was fine. I was like, oh, this is nice. This is easy. This is not at all what it's going to be like once we get into it, I'm sure. But they have some like nice little training for you. You get like one or two little enemies that you're fighting, that you're practicing with, and it goes really well, builds up your confidence. And then you get to the first boss battle, and you've got a big boss and two minions that are pretty strong. And I went into it with me and my little soldier guy, and at first I was trying to plan stuff out. I'm like, okay, let me use my AoE attacks, kind of get all of them, bring some stuff down, let him come in, use his sword at him. I was making good progress. I think I definitely got one minion killed, and I may have gotten the second one, but then I ran out of like my healing potions and I died. And I was like, oh man, because I'd been doing a decent job. But then I had to go back and replay like this cutscene area with lots of dialogue. So I had to just keep pushing the button to try to get through it. And that was kind of frustrating. And then I started the fight again, and I died really quickly on that one. I was like, oh my God. And that's when I decided to stop, because I didn't want to go through the cutscene dialogue again. So it's a neat story. I think if you like turn-based combat and you can get through that part of it, I think you'll really like this game. It's doing some neat things with the story, but I just can't do it. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, so. I'm the same with turn-based combat. Like, I had this conversation with Bobby before, and he was like, I'm going to have to ask you on the show sometimes why, like, what your thing is with turn-based combat. And I was like, I honestly cannot explain it. Like, I'm just terrible at turn-based combat.
I just like to run in there with my gun, shoot some stuff, maybe jump or dodge to the side if they're shooting back at me. And I just like that high action, that keep going, not like pause, think about it. I can't, I can do one thing, I can attack, and then they're just going to hit me the next time because I can only do one action.
Yeah.
Just like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's part of my thing. It's just sort of like the whole, like, the silly thing is like, I've played games which are like some of my favorite games of all time, like Final Fantasy VII, which is turn-based combat. But I don't know. I think I just, like you say, I just prefer to have more of a flow to the combat as opposed to sort of like, press attack, press select which attack I would like. Yeah. Press it, wait for my turn to arrive. I am now attacking you. You have been attacked. Now I am being attacked, and I am just standing there. And
yes, it's just like you have no recourse when they're attacking you. You just have to let it happen. And like in real life, you would be reacting and trying to block that attack. You can't just sit there and take it.
But I think it's just not. I guess it's just not. I don't think my shitty attention span helps either.
Well, that might be part of it for me as well.
Yeah,
so,
my brain just
turn-based combat could be the equivalent of that slow walking and talking that just does me in. So.
Yeah, I know what you're feeling. I got I backed Battle Chasers on Kickstarter. So I've been playing that a little bit really recently. I mentioned it before, and that's much the same. But I think, like, so far the turn-based combat in that isn't too bad, because I think it kind of goes easy on you, so I don't know whether it ramps up the difficulty. I think that's the other thing as well, is I get frustrated with it if I find it difficult. Like you said, it's just one of those like systems of combat that, whereas like Cuphead, obviously it's a bit, they're two different things, but Cuphead, if I fail, I just want to be like, I'm gonna go again. I want to beat this. Like, it kind of becomes like this reward for beating it. Whereas like turn-based combat, when I fuck up at it, I'm just like, I don't want to anymore. No, switch the things off.
I can get it. Like, you try a technique and you end up dying. You're like, the next time you come back, you're like, okay, well, let's not do it this way. Let's try these other attacks and try to go through this way to see if I can do it better. And I mean, it makes sense. I I just don't have the patience for it, and I don't want to sit through. I mean, if I had died and then it had started right back at the start of the battle, I might have tried it another few times, but I didn't want to sit through the long cutscene again.
Yeah,
So
that seems silly that like it forces you to rewatch a cutscene. Like if it goes back
yeah,
to that, say like if that's where the checkpoint in the game is fine, but we just have like hold whatever button to skip.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm gonna have to get into the habit of checking the Switch for demos because it does seem
yeah,
like compared to a lot of systems, it does have like quite a lot of playable demos on it, which is good.
yep,
Like you've tried that game, it's not your thing. You're not lost any money on it, which
yeah,
is like still now. I just wish like PlayStation would just do like Steam does and say if you bought this game and you haven't played it for any longer than this much, if it's not your thing, just request a refund and we'll give you your money back.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
that would be awesome.
yeah, but I don't think they'll do it anytime soon. So, I'm not gonna really talk about it much because I haven't played it much yet. I picked up Shadow of Mordor yesterday,
Oh yeah.
which is the new Middle Earth game. Um, and so far I like it. I don't think I've got into sort of like where it opens itself up and gives you the things about this one that are unique. It kind of established the whole sort of like thing with the captains where um, you'll go like the opening mission, you go in and there's like the dudes who you can interrogate, and you basically interrogate him. You grab around the neck, and then the wraith that lives inside you basically is like, "Tell me about this person," and then you just get like these
Yep.
this screen where these silhouettes come up, and you can select whichever captain you want, and they'll give you intelligence on them. So they all have a weakness. So like the first one I came up against, go on, Sam.
Okay, just checking. That sounds exactly like the first game.
To an extent, yes. But I think eventually this game will become a lot about like recruiting people and building an army.
Okay.
I think that's
Okay.
what this one is going to do differently, but I haven't got that far yet. Um, and it's just like it's ridiculously brutal when you've like finished interrogating people. You just like squeeze their neck until their head pops, basically. And I was just like,
Lovely.
that's fucking cool. Um, but yeah, it's like still got a lot of the similar traits to the first game, where like some of the dialogue between the orcs as you're sort of like creeping up on them is just like hilarious. Like there was this one group of orcs, and this guy was talking about how he had an argument with his wife because she couldn't find her hairbrush. But she thought he'd moved it, and he was like, "But I didn't move it. She just put it where she doesn't normally keep it." And I keep saying to her, "Put your hairbrush in the same place all the time, and it'll never go missing." But it was like, "Oh, so I'm out of here, you guys now. Everything will probably be fine." And I was just like hid in this grass, just like, "It's really not going to be fine, mate. You're going to be decapitated shortly." And then I crept up on him and slit his throat.
Nice.
But yeah, it looks really nice, that game. The locations in it look gorgeous. But yeah, I've just got to the point where it like opens out the first location for you, and it looks like there's quite a bit to do in it. But I'll speak about it more at length once I've got a bit further into it. Um,
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you end up thinking about it and how different it is from the first one, because when I played the first one, I loved it. I was so enthralled with that game. I was like, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and I loved it so much that I got close to the end and was like, I don't want to finish this yet. I don't want it to be over. So I took a little break, probably a couple, 2 or 3 months maybe, and then I decided to come back and finish it. And when I came back to finish it and I started playing it, I was like, huh, this this all seems really repetitive. And it wasn't as remembered it being the first time I played it, and I just kind of lost my affection for it.
Hmm.
So since then, I haven't been too excited about the second one. So I really want to see if it's going to be something new or if it's going to be really similar to the old one. And maybe I'm ready to play that style again and get back into it. Because I mean, I had tons of fun at first, so
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I I think I kind of got burned out on kind of like the that kind of game where you're like, here's a new area, find the tower. If you defeat the tower, you will then remove the fog on the map and you'll see where everything is, and then you go around and complete all the missions in that area, and then you'll unlock the next area and you repeat it again.
Yeah.
um and I think the game that kind of broke me on that was Infamous Second Son. Like, I did find that side of it, I didn't enjoy it in the first one. Whereas the thing that I enjoyed about the first one was, like, I think it was kind of like, it was kind of like Lord of the Rings does the Arkham games,
Yeah.
and I just love the combat in it. Like, I still don't the combat so far, I still don't think it feels quite as refined as Rocksteady got it with the Arkham games, especially in Arkham Knight. It just doesn't feel like it has that sort of flow to it. And I think that's probably because you're using weapons as opposed to it being, fists and kicks. So it just doesn't seem to like have as much impact. But yeah, I think, like, I'm interested to find out, like you say, Sam. I want to get to the point where I think there is that whole thing about, like, you have to plan sieges on, you build an army, and there's like a castle or something you need to take over, and you plan a siege on it and stuff like that. And I think, like, certain orcs are more suited to attacking certain places than others and stuff like that, from what I've seen. So I think once that element comes into it, I think maybe that'll be where the game comes into its own. So moving on, tell us more about Agents of Mayhem.
All right, I am just loving this game. I understand some of the complaints now. Like the more I've played, like I've been doing a lot of the layers, and once you get in there, it's like they're dungeons. It's pretty similar. Like we're just talking about, you're doing the same thing. That kind of gets repetitive. But there's a lot of other stuff to do in this game. I'm still in the process of unlocking all the agents, and so far there's really only been one that's been kind of boring. This Yeti kind of Iceman. He wasn't too interesting. But the rest of the stories for the people have been pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to getting the rest of those unlocked. And then the other day, I was just playing, I'm just running along the rooftops looking for chests and these collectibles. And I'm like, this is fun. This is relaxing. And it was like, if I get bored, I can just pull up a mission and go do something specific. But I like the flexibility of just having the open world to just run around and do stuff, or follow the path that I'm given. Um, One thing that's really cool, like you mentioned in one of the games, that your Rainbow Six Siege, I think sometimes you have to rescue hostages.
Yeah.
So that's something in this game too. There's just these little mini quests where you have to go rescue someone, and pretty much they're people like tied to this bomb, and so you have to go put some of your like sci-fi tech on them to protect them, and then you explode the bomb. And when you do that, this tech like pops this big boom, and so it's like they're in a giant hamster ball, and just as soon as that happens, they're like bouncing around in this ball, and they don't come out of it. They just keep bouncing around, and so you can like hit them and like shoot them and like direct their ball all around the city for as long as you can,
That sounds
until it
amazing.
just like starts. It's so fun, and then like sometimes it'll just go crazy and it'll go way off and you won't be able to catch up with it. But it's just like crazy weird stuff like that that's a lot of fun. um, oh, I finally did the trophy. There's a trophy for hitting a ramp with your car and doing a 360 in the air, and I tried for a really long time to get that, and I could never quite get the height. So I had to do a little Google there to see, and someone showed me where a big good ramp is. So I got that and did my 360. So I was really excited about that. But yeah, this game also is really good about giving you trophies like quite often. So that makes me happy as well. So I mean, I can see people might get bored with it, but I like the personality of it. I like the personality of the characters, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it. So
Yeah, I think like one of my friends has it, and they said it's it's the amount of characters it has, and with the fact that it sort of gives them to you gradually, it like that's what kept him sort of involved in the game, was that he was looking forward to like getting the new characters and stuff. But yeah, I think it might be a game that I'll try out at some time when there's a lull. But with how video games are these days, I'm not even sure we're gonna get the lulls anymore. Like the summer lull this year just didn't happen. It just wasn't a thing this year. So I'll talk about one more thing, and then we'll do a listener question or two. The Battlefront beta was over the weekend. I got into it a few days early because I am insane and love Star Wars, and I pre-ordered the crazy big like £90 all singing all dancing edition,
and based on like when you make your pre-order and how you knew about things, I mean, I'd say that would make you a bigger Star Wars fan than Matt would, who didn't know the beta was starting. I would guess.
that would appear to be the case. Although
just checking.
I will not at any point willingly enter into a trivia quiz against him. Purely because of who he's married to. Because Mara is kind of like my Star Wars sage, shall we say. Like, I know my stuff, Mara knows her stuff, and the stuff that goes on top of the stuff.
He probably had to take some type of Star Wars test to make sure he was fully knowledgeable before she would be willing to enter into marriage with him. I would just guess. I don't know. So, I mean, I'm sure he knows his stuff now.
It's true. But, yeah, I mean, I have varying, like, conflicting sort of feelings towards it. Like, gameplay-wise, fantastic. Like, it's the one time I ever found myself, and I felt a bit sick, to be honest, when I thought the game loaded up the first time, went into my first round of Galactic Assault, and I went, ooh, Naboo looks cool, and I kind of went, I can't believe I just thought that. I can't believe I just thought
Huw,
that.
It's okay. It's okay to take some enjoyment from things that happened in the prequel. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's perfectly acceptable.
We'll beg to differ on that one. If anybody, I loathe the prequels. I detest them. But no, like this game is gorgeous. Like, if the levels that they put in this beta are anything to go by, this game is going to be stunning. Like, probably one of the best games, if not the best looking game you can play on console. But yeah, like I say, gameplay wise, it's fantastic. Like, feels very much like the first. But whereas the first one was just basically you're either good guys, bad guys, and you have whatever shooty things they give you based around that. This one has kind of like the Battlefield rather, like class-based system. So you have 4 classes: assault, heavy, officer and specialist or special, something to do with being special anyway. And each one has their own unique abilities. Like the officers are very sort of like, if you're near an officer, they have like effects they can have on you. Like they'll they can make your health bar fill back up if you've taken some damage quicker, or they'll scramble the senses of people who, like enemies who are around, so you can't be detected if you're nearby. Like heavy class, you've just got like a big sort of machine gun blaster thing. And then you've got the star cards, and I really like what they're doing with the star cards in this game. There's a lot more depth to them, and each type of star card has 3 levels. So you've got gold, silver, and bronze, and you can upgrade the cards. But like, I like the assault mode. It's, you know, pretty it's just sort of taking what they did with Walker Assault in the first game and kind of just put in different aesthetics on it, I guess. So this one is called Galactic Assault, and it's like, the map was, you're on Naboo, there's this massive tank heading towards this palace. The clone troopers have to pick up like an ion cannon to shoot the tank with, lowers its shields, and then you have to attack it, try and destroy it. And then you'll either destroy it before it gets to the palace, but if it reaches the palace, it'll then destroy the entrance of the palace, which then starts another phase. And depending on how much damage the tank has taken, your team will then have a certain number of lives to complete the next 2 phases. And I quite liked that that way of doing it. And you said yourself, Sam, I think, like, I kind of understand, like, it took me a few rounds to kind of get what was going on. And it doesn't do a very good job at all of, like, you've just got like these 2 little icons either side of the screen. Is like, here's an ion cannon, pick me up. And
well, the first time I played that one, I was on the attack. It's your job to go find the ion cannons, but then defend them, not pick them up and use them. So I was just really confused about what was going on, because I saw where I was supposed to go with these, and then I'm like, I'm just supposed to stand here and not use this? I don't understand what's happening. And then later, once I was on the opposite side and I was defending the palace, like, it would say, here are the 2 doors to defend, but I would get so lost inside there. I would not be able to find where that marker was. I'd keep like running into walls and being like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. So I had a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah, I can understand that. But yeah, and then there was the other mode, which was I can't remember exactly what it was called.
Strike?
The strikes, yes. Which was 8 versus 8. And that was pretty cool. It's basically, you have stormtroopers who have to steal this artifact and get it to their base type thing, and you're the rebels who have to stop them from doing it. That mode was quite fun as well. And then it was sort of like
I like that one better.
The sort of space battle ones with the ships, and that just isn't for me. I don't like it. I tried it a few times. It plays fine. The controls are weird as fuck. Like, I felt like my brain was going to dribble out of my nose the first time I played it, because I was just like, I don't understand, like, why is my movie thing all on one side of the stick and the other one does nothing. It was just weird.
It was weird, and I do not agree with them taking the evasive maneuvers off just default abilities and making those star cards. I need my barrel roll and my evasive abilities like at all times. I do not approve.
That, yeah, and the star cards are kind of where, like, an issue of mine. Like I said, I like what they're doing with them in the gold, silver, and bronze, and the depth that they have. Like, the fact that there's so many, you can tailor your loadout better. but I do agree with that whole thing. Like, a big part of those battles with the spaceships is, you know, if somebody targets you with a missile and they've locked on and they fire it, unless you've got that star card, you're screwed. Like, it shouldn't give you, like,
it's not cool.
It shouldn't put you in that situation.
And one thing Cody was saying that like this is going to have microtransactions where you can buy extra crates to get extra I can't talk. Star cards.
Yes.
So the crates will give you star cards, and so you can just pay to get a bunch and get better abilities. So then you're going to be way overpowered than people who are just coming in playing and getting stuff as they earn it.
And that's where my worry for this game lies, is that I'm worried that it could err on the side of pay to win type thing. I've got no issue with there being, like, there's nothing much in the way of cosmetics in this game. Like, you've got like victory poses and stuff like that. But being able to pay money to get star cards and the sort of like scrap parts or whatever they're called in the minis game, which you can use to craft like modifications for the weapons. Like, some of the weapons have like 3 modification slots. I mean, I don't know if you'll get star cards and that from these crates that you can buy with real money, but right now it seems that that's the case, and that to me just is wrong. Pay to win on a console game, like pay to win on mobile games is fine, because as far as I'm concerned, for the most part, most mobile phone games exist to turn you upside down, shake you by your ankles, and empty your pockets. But in a console game, pay to win just should not be a thing. So I am a little bit worried about that.
Especially as much as we pay for the game just on its own.
Exactly.
It would be interesting if this develops, if instead of having, like, you know, Overwatch has like skill ratings, and so they will match you with people of equal skill. It would be interesting if like this would start matching you with people who have spent similar amounts of money as you, rather than just putting people who are going organic versus the people who've paid lots of money. You know, separate those out, let them do battle with other people like them.
Yeah, I mean, either that or have the star cards have like a level restriction on them. So unless you're sort of level 20 or level 30 or whatever, you can't use like a gold level star card or something like that. So the matchmaking will put you with other people who are around that level, who will then in theory have that level star card as well. So it always tries to keep it as much of a level playing field as possible. You would like to think that the matchmaking would be smart enough to do that, which the technology exists to do that. But that is my concern. But I am very excited for this game. Like, I'm super excited for the the campaign mode. And Kelsey texted me earlier on saying that she's being sent by Girls on Games to EA Montreal for this press event for the single player mode. I was like, damn you. So
that's so exciting.
I said to her, I was like, if what's her name, Janina Gavankar? Yeah,
if she's there. Like, oh my god!
If she was there, insane. I was like, if you don't say hi and get a photo of her for me, then we're no longer friends. And she was like, oh my god, she's so hot. I was like, she really is. But
she's just so enthusiastic and excited that it's contagious.
Like when she came out onto the stage at like E3, I think it was E3, and she had that like custom made dress on, which was like made to look like she was in her first order armor. I was just like, this lady is fucking awesome. Like, she's been given this job and she is going like all the way with it, and like she is just like uber geek, and she's just like, she's so cool. But yeah, I'm very excited for this game. Like, it looks like it has the depth that the first one didn't, which was what the problem with the first one was. Like, it was a good video game. it played really well, but it was just bare bones, and I don't think that the season pass didn't, not even that went any way to sort of like correcting that. But we'll soon to come mid-November. Right, we'll finish with one quick question. Kelsey says she asked this for a friend, but I'm not sure if she was, being, obtuse.
Friend in quotation marks?
Yes. What is a game that everybody should play by the end of 2017? Sam, I think I can kind of predict what yours might be.
Can you predict that I'm going to say I can't pick just one? I have to list two at least. Oh, God.
Let me guess.
I figure if... Okay.
One is Horizon Zero Dawn.
My God, you're such a good guesser. I don't even know how you could come up with that. That's amazing.
Shock horror.
I mean, it is, in fact, Horizon Zero Dawn. That is just such a fantastic game. I mean, I was sold the moment I heard that you're fighting robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow. And then it's just got this amazing story. With the latest update, I think they've added that thing where you can just do kind of more of a story playthrough and not have to mess with the combat.
Yes.
So if it's too hard, if you're not into it, you can still experience the whole thing without having to deal with that. And I think it's amazing that they did something like that just to make this game as fully accessible to as many people as possible. So yeah, and I mean, I think Huw agrees with me that this is a fantastic game.
It really is. Like, it's when I finished it, I was like, this game is a massive spanner in the works as far as like what takes my top spot for game of the year. Yeah. It's brilliant. Like, for like the open world sort of games with like the RPG elements like that these days are sort of 10 a penny, but for one to have such a good story like that, and for it to like, it takes its time getting going, but that's not a bad thing, because by the time the story does properly start opening itself up, and when it does, you're still a good 5 or 6 hours from the end of the game. You need to be like at the level that the game sort of gets you to when it does it. But it's brilliant. It's such good writing. Like the emotional impact at the end of that game was just so good. It's such a good story.
And also just the fact that we have such a wonderful, strong female protagonist that we get to play as. Aloy is a great character, and I feel very lucky that we have her. But then also just there's quite a diversity of characters in the game, the NPCs that you interact with. And that was wonderful to see as well. Just seeing all different kinds of people represented honestly and just like positively. So
yeah,
that made me feel good.
Like Aloy is just like, in terms of like female characters that have just agency just oozing out of every pore, like she comes up against people who just like give her shit, like they'll talk down to her as if she's like mud on their boots, and she just shouts them down every time, and she's just so like sassy, and she's just a complete badass, and she's just, she's not sexualized in any way. Like, her armor is just like, it looks practical, and she's not dressed like it's cheesecakey in any way. She's just like a badass person, and it's brilliant. And like you say, the depth of diversity in that world is just like, there's all kinds of everybody. There's characters that look like they're Native American. There's characters that look like they're sort of East Asian. There's, characters that look like they could be from, the Middle East and stuff like that. And there's just all kinds of everybody. And it's not just Aloy in it as well, who's a good female character. Like, a big part of the game is the fact that there's this like tribe of people who are run by a matriarchy, and it's just really cool to see. I mean, they're a bit bonkers, but they're a matriarchy nonetheless. They worship
Yeah.
them. They worship a robot in a mountain, which is a bit weird, but
Hugh, did you ever go find Petra Forge Woman?
not yet. No, I've looked up where to go
Ugh.
for it, and I will.
Oh,
Like
she's my favorite.
the final few scenes in the game, just kind of like I don't think I'm ready for more sadness from it. I was just like, it's such
Oh,
a lovely moment at the
yeah.
end of the game.
Yeah. Well, this will make you happy and it'll be fun
Oh,
because they're great together.
oh,
So,
I remember. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of the
yes.
those like vision things you can look at. But yeah, I need to go
No,
and look
no,
for
no,
that
no, no.
lady.
Oh, no, that thing. No, no, no.
No, you're
No,
on
this
about
is
the
just
lady who like
an
crushes on
NPC.
Aloy big time,
Oh
aren't you?
my God, she's so in love with Aloy and it's fantastic. I love it.
Well,
So,
rightly so.
I
I
mean,
mean,
everybody, pretty much everybody in that game is in love with Aloy.
yeah,
So,
she's essentially like future dinosaur fighting Wonder Woman.
pretty much, yeah.
To
Yep.
see her is to love her. Um,
All right, Hugh, you want to tell your game and then I'll come back to my other one?
yes. I think mine, in terms of games this year that are just, I can unequivocally say that is just completely essential to anybody, is Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, that video game just blew me away. For Nintendo to take an existing franchise that's been around for years and just take what it does and do something completely new with it, and nail it, was just fantastic. Like, there's just such an amazing sense of adventure in that game. It just encourages you to explore, and it rewards you pretty much every sort of way you go. Like, every time you walk into a new area in that game, something will happen. You're like, oh, that's cool, what's that? And like, you'll just be wandering around and like a shooting star will just randomly drop from the sky, and you're just like, huh, I've never seen that before. Or you'll be running along and like a massive dragon just flies through the sky, and I was just like, the first time I saw her, I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. And it's just like an incredible achievement in like game design. It's got a really good story. It's not like, fairly, as far as Zelda goes, it's got a fairly deep story, but still not, it's very surface level. There's not much depth to it. But in terms of a game that challenges you, not majorly, it's tricky in parts, but it's super rewarding, and there's some brilliantly designed puzzles. Like, most of the shrines, and there is one exception, which is that fucking tilty one.
Motion control, it's the worst.
Like, the design on most of the shrines in that game, where they're puzzle based, is fantastic, and the dungeons, the way you do them, and that whole thing around that, and then it culminates in like some cool boss battles. I loved it, and the final boss battle is like probably actually fairly simple compared to some of them, that visually it's just phenomenal. And I was just like blown away by that game. But like I said, there's other games which are vying for my top spot for game of the year. But I think in terms of right now, the game that ekes being essential is Zelda. So what's your other one, Sam?
It's butterfly soup. I think I talked about it last week. It's a pay what you want game, so you can play for free. And it's just a story about these four Asian American ninth graders, coming into their own and just they're the best characters in the world. Their interactions, these girls are fantastic. It's so entertaining. And just if you want like a feel good game, you should definitely check it out. There's no reason not to. You could get it for free. It's great. So
Is that
everyone
on
should check
Steam
that out.
or?
No, it's just you Google butterfly soup game, and it's just this website, and you can just download it from there directly.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
yeah, it's really cool. I think it's made by a woman named Brianna Lei. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just great. So
Mm. I did like
that's
the sound of it from when you were speaking about it before. It sounds fun. Like you
yes,
say, free is a good price. Oh, pay what you want.
yes.
I
Yeah,
mean, you
pass
could
it
even
up.
play it
Yes, I mean,
and go back and pay what you want according to how much
yeah.
you enjoyed it.
And there's an art book that if you pay $5, you unlock the art book as well. So you can go ahead and get that as well. So,
Oh, that's
but yeah,
cool.
it's great, guys.
I'll
Do
have to
it.
check that out. So,
Yeah.
that wraps this episode of Talking Games up. You can find us on YouTube at YouTube.
Wait. Oh wait.
Oh no, I've
Hugh,
forgotten your
I
Friday
wanted
fight night.
yeah, Fright Night Friday. So we're doing horror streams on Fridays. This is an extra special Friday, you guys, because it is in fact Friday the 13th. So that evening at oh my god, 9 p.m. Eastern, Cody and I are going to be streaming the game Friday the 13th. We've got Megs and Eric who are going to be joining us. We would love to have some more people join in with us. So if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to us. On Twitter, I'm at SKSUVAK, and just let me know if you want to come play with us. But that's not all. So since we're doing that in the evening, and Evil Within 2 comes out that day, and I'm really going to want to play it, I'm going to be playing it at midnight Friday morning. So technically it's 11 p.m. Central Time for me. So I'm going to be streaming that. So you get like a double feature. Evil Within 2 and then Friday the 13th. So it should be a lot of fun and a lot of scary, spooky stuff for you.
Sounds good to me. Although
Yeah,
I will be in bed for most of that, to be fair.
that's fair.
Although actually, when you start streaming
Evil
Evil
Within, you
Within,
could be waking up.
I'll probably be
Yeah.
getting up for work.
It's the
So
perfect way to start your day.
yeah,
So,
I'll
yeah.
I'll sit with my bowl of crunchy nut cornflakes, half awake, in my living room, um,
Yeah.
watching you stream. So yeah, so there is that. Yeah, I was hoping to be able to play with you guys, but it'll be a bit late. So hey
Yeah,
ho,
that's okay.
I'll just watch it on the YouTubes. Speaking of
Yeah.
which, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/talkinggamesvideos. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/talkinggames. You can contact us long form. Email is games@talkingcomicbooks.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/talkinggamespc. And on the Twitters, we are at talking_games. And don't forget, you can go on the Extra Life website if you want to sign up and join our team. Search for the Talking Comics team, and you can join up. Basically, when you join up, it'll ask you if you want to play as an individual or play as a team. If you select play as a team, find Talking Comics, select that, you can play, and whatever people can still donate against your name, but whatever you raise will go against our team goal. So you basically select one of the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals that you want to support, and what you raise will then help them. So, it's all for a very good cause. We're yet to sort of thrash out the finer details of when we're going to be doing things and what exactly we're going to be playing. We are aiming to do the raid in Destiny at some point, but it's quite lengthy. But once we know what exactly we're doing, we'll let everybody know. But yeah, if you want to join us, that would be amazing. But if not, please donate. Like, even if it's just $1, every little helps. It would be amazing if you could spare us a few pennies. So you can find me on the Twitters at H_Paz. Sam's already given her handle, but she's gonna give it again just for, you know,
just in case you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, and you should follow Sam because she's very nice.
I'm all right. Sometimes I give lectures, so you got to watch out. But yeah, all right. It's at SKSUVAK.
Yeah, but you know, they're nice. They're friendly lectures.
I mean, to be fair, I've been getting my own lectures now. Sarah has been giving me quite a few lectures from these Sam Spooks Sarah videos. So
Sarah has a habit.
I really felt like a bad person.
She has a habit of calling me young man, and I'm older than she is, so she needs to stop that shit. But I texted her. I was like, "What was the first game you played? The first episode you did. What was the first game you did?"
Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Drawn to Death.
That was it. I texted her. I was like, Sarah, you're the only person who's managed to do a voiceover for Drawn to Death and have it sound a little bit sexy. Because she's got like that English Rose accent.
Yes. She does have the best voice. I mean, if someone's going to be yelling at me, I mean, I'd prefer it to be her. So that's fair.
Which, don't let it deceive you, because she's very much not an English Rose. She's a wild child.
She's got her thorns.
Yeah. She is crazy. So yes, that wraps it up for this episode of Talking Games. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Huw.
And thank you to all of you. Until next time, be good to one another. Right, I'll remember to stop.